Welcome to today's Explainer. We're looking at a guy who, honestly, quietly laid the literal foundations of modern science, the ultimate polymath, Ibn-e-Sina. If you want to understand how humanity took a giant leap forward in medicine, philosophy, and astronomy, well, this is where the whole shebang started.
Okay, let's dive into this. What if I told you the foundations of modern medicine were built by a teenager who was constantly on the run? Seriously, it sounds like an action thriller, right? But this was actually Ibn Sina's reality. His brilliant mind wasn't, operating in some quiet, peaceful laboratory. Oh no, he was working right in the middle of severe historical turbulence. So meet Abu Ali al-Ḥusayn ibn Abdullah ibn Sina, or as you might know him in the West, Avicenna. Born around 980 CE near Bukhara, which is in present-day Uzbekistan, he became a central, towering figure of the Islamic Golden Age. I mean, even his education-minded father couldn't have predicted just how incredibly far his son's intellect would actually go.
Let's look at his early milestones, and I'll go fast here because they come at a totally rapid-fire pace. He's born in 980. By 10 years old, he'd memorized the entire Quran. Fast forward to 16, he's mastered multiple sciences and is actually practicing medicine. And by 18, he was such a highly respected physician that he was called upon to treat the local ruler. Talk about a true boy genius.
That ruler he treated? That was Na ibn Mansur. When Ibn Sina successfully cured him, he was handed the ultimate reward, full, unrestricted access to the royal library. To put that into perspective, this treasure trove of extremely rare books was the major catalyst that just supercharged this teenage prodigy's knowledge. It was like handing him the keys to the universe. But as he entered adulthood, his absolute genius crashed headfirst into tremendous political turmoil. Empires were literally rising and falling all around him. So Ibn Sina's life became this crazy, constant balancing act between advancing human knowledge and, honestly, simply surviving the chaotic politics of his day. Over the course of his life, he wore so many hats. We're talking court physician, a powerful government minister or vizier, political advisor, and teacher. Because the political climate was so volatile, he was frequently dismissed from his posts, forced into hiding, and even thrown into prison. Yet despite all of that, the guy never stopped working. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the sheer output. Historians estimate that despite constantly being on the move, hiding out, or even locked up in a prison cell, Ibn Sina managed to write around 450 works. About 240 of those actually survive today. His productivity under extreme, life-threatening pressure was just incredible. Which brings us right to his crowning achievement, the Canon of Medicine. Let's be clear, this wasn't just some quick reference book. It was a massive 5-volume medical encyclopedia covering anatomy, surgery, and ethics. Once it was translated into Latin, it literally remained the global gold standard medical textbook in both Europe and the Islamic world for about 600 years. 6 centuries. His historical breakthroughs from back then are the bedrock of the modern medicine that you and I rely on today. He emphasized clinical diagnosis based on actual symptoms, detailed the contagious nature of tuberculosis, and recognized that diseases could spread through contaminated water and soil, centuries before we had modern germ theory. He even connected emotional health to physical health. But here's the thing, his intellect just couldn't be contained to one single field. Alongside the Canon of Medicine sits his other masterwork, the Book of Healing. Now, despite that title, it's actually not a medical text at all. It's a massive philosophical encyclopedia covering logic, mathematics, astronomy, physics, and metaphysics. It's just mind-blowing. He developed deep, highly influential philosophical ideas on the existence of God and the human soul that heavily shaped later Muslim thinkers and European scholars alike. Oh, and in astronomy, he recorded precise observations of the famous 1006 CE supernova, which was one of the brightest stellar events in all of recorded human history. He really was the ultimate polymath. He once wrote, "Medicine is the science by which we learn the various states of the human body in health and disease." It's elegantly simple, right? But it cuts right to the absolute core of what he dedicated his incredibly chaotic life to understanding. Sadly, Ibn Sina died in 1037 CE in Hamadan, Iran, at just 57 years old. Fittingly for a life spent constantly on the move, he actually fell ill while traveling on a military campaign. He tried to treat himself, but in the end, even the master physician couldn't cure his final ailment. Still, His legacy as a pioneer of medical education, it had really only just begun. So as we wrap up today's explainer, it leaves us with a deeply provocative thought. Where would modern medicine and science be today without the foundations laid by this brilliant Islamic Golden Age polymath? We owe a massive debt to a boy genius who turned political chaos into centuries of global enlightenment. Keep exploring, and I'll catch you in the next one.